Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. Why I know it's more than the face. Why I know, and I'm saying no, I'm capitalizing that. I'm emphasizing that word. Because, whenever I do these body game videos, invariably somebody always comes in the comments and say, no, it's the face, man. Oh, it's just it's the face, man. Bullshit. And I'm just going to tell you bullshit. And I'm going to use the word why I know. Only way to know something is to experience it. I ain't going on no theory or anything. I'm not going on theory. I'm going on what I know, what I experienced. Let me tell you how I really started getting into the body and really realizing, oh, that's the key. I'm going to tell you what. A lot of times, and it's like, let's go back to the late 80s. Late 80s. Everything, and look, no disrespect to the guys, whether they red pill content creators, dating coaches, whatever. But a lot of what they trying to tell people is stuff I had back then. Approaching women. I had that back in high school. I went to an all-boy high school in D.C., Archbishop Carroll. It's co-ed now, but it was all boys then. And I was a normal teenager. So if Rom wanted to meet women, I had to approach him in the streets. And I couldn't hesitate. And, the term we used back then was book them. Book them mean getting their phone numbers and stuff. Because, we didn't have phones. And you had to write, you had to write their numbers in a phone book or something. Or I had a serious black book. I could have gave a seminar on a booking a woman back then. I mean, whether it was in the streets, whether it was at a party, whether it was at the go-go. All my DC folks know about the go-go, right? And you know what? It wasn't, so I had that. Had sex. I'm just going to be real. I had it. But I had to use a lot of game to get it. And really, I didn't realize it, but I was actually in decent shape because in high school I played soccer. That's funny. Built like a football player now, but in high school I played soccer. So, but, once I got out of high school, I ain't playing soccer anymore. I didn't want to play it at a college level. And so, Ron went to college, put on that freshman 15 and kept going. Seriously, started doing that weight. But I still had the basis of game. And then once I graduated college and went to school at the graduate level, okay, somebody might be in the picture, right? But anyway, went to school at the graduate level, still, I would say, had an interesting body build. It was average, but, I could still hang in football, basketball, definitely soccer. So, I play intramurals and everything, right? And, but still, I didn't have that physique. And I didn't think about it. I didn't really think about it at the time because I still got to play because I had a certain amount of status. And I'm going to be real, even though I'm be saying like now, I'm like, yeah, I'm just average looking. I'm 55 now. And even now, people say I look like I'm like 45. They'd be surprised. So imagine how I look when I was in my early 20s, So, and I'm just going to be real. There's quite a few women say, oh, yeah, you handsome. They wouldn't give me no pussy, though. They weren't giving me no pussy. Now, I ain't going to say I didn't get pussy. Definitely got some. But then if I'm going to be real, The women I got some from were in the 4 to 5 range. So it wasn't the dimes. Now, I knew some dimes, but they kept me in platonic mode. Like, they were real cool with me. They were real cool with me, friendly, all that. But they wouldn't give me no 90. And indeed, back then, I had dated a lot of women. So, so the few women, it was a handful of women I had sex with during the late 80s. Just a handful. Like, actual sex went all the way with them. Like I said, they went in the 4 to 5 range. And then increased double that number by the women, most we did, might slobber down or kiss them. But even that was more transactional or something to do. Indeed, especially even before that, when you on like a college campus, it's just easy to at least get a kiss, tongue kiss or something. And then I'm gonna be real. Some of the women I dealt with, even before high school, they had some freaking. which means they had some hoe in them. So I wasn't the only one. Um, you get a lot of women. You get a lot of women in some places. People think they getting them. So I say no, they just open. Because even with that select, non-select thing, and I was telling somebody last night, conversation with one of my inner circle. I said, for one woman, her select might be 10% of men, another woman might be 70% of the men. So the women, and then even some of the women who I was just kissing, at least getting that much, they more had a bigger range. And even then, there was some transactional stuff in there because late 80s, shoot, the money I had at the time, from different sources, shoot, I was shit. In fact, I'll put it like this. Some of my own friends say, Ron, you're a drug dealer, ain't you? We ain't gonna get into it. But one of the things that I could take them to like plays and stuff like that, and fancy dinners. For those in the DC area, I saw Constitution Hall a whole lot. Because at the time, and I didn't realize it at the time, I didn't really need all that. But at the time, I thought, oh, we're supposed to have money, and we didn't use the term status, but the principle was there. And I was like, oh, I got the money. That's what we're supposed to do. Yeah, I found that out. I was wrong, but I went through that period. That's why I'm that big on it. And like I said, I'm just gonna be real with you, and I'm going by what the women say. I don't give a shit what a guy says, but the women, they were like, oh yeah, you cute. Because even back then, and even now, women always compliment my eyes, and they say she got a great smile and all of that. In fact, I'm gonna be real with you. My looks were to the point, especially when I was a teenager. I've had like several women say, he'd be all right if he wasn't so dark. That's why I don't have any sympathy for colorism. Women talking about colorism, because I experienced that shit. So, except for that, they were like, oh, he was all right. Like several, like some fine ass women. Shit. One of the women who said it hung out with, I remember she said it, and she had nerve to be looking right at me. You know how they be faking talking about you and stuff, but you picking up on what they saying and shit. And one of her friends was, she was in a crew that included the wife of a well-known celebrity. I'll put it like that. I actually knew, I didn't know the woman, but we knew each other by face. A well-known celebrity. So, but, that was the thing. And, I was like, okay. And when I see what people say now, it's like, oh, it's just a face. It's just a face. It's just the, or the money. I'm like, well, you got play, but look at the quality. I mean, most of the women, like I said, the women that actually went all the way and had sex with were in around the 4 range. And I might be generous with a couple of them. So that's one. And then some of the ones who were more kissy, it was more like the transactional thing. Oh, okay, he spent this money on me. Let me give him a kiss. But then there was a group of women who had me in the friend zone. Like one woman, shoot, we went on a date and everything. And I'm thinking went to the movies. I'm thinking everything all cool. And then, oh man, there was quite a few. Now that I think about it, shoot, one had been featured in the Ebony Man magazine. Me and her still cool though, but she ain't do anything. She ain't do anything physical, or anything, and she have a problem. Some of them, like I said, some of the dimes, they were like, oh yeah, he looks good, right? But they weren't giving anything. So think about it. I had the approach, had the confidence. They were cool with me. They loved my personality. Shoot. And like I said, definitely got some kisses and stuff, right? Definitely got some kisses. So it was like, it was like, I didn't need to go anything further. Wait a minute, y'all. Hey, Happy New Year. All right. Hey, I won't be around for a while, so I'll see you next year. All right. Bye. Yeah, so anyway, right? Yeah, so, I was, had all the stuff, supposedly, the women telling me, like the fine women telling me, but going on dates with them, oh, you just a friend. And like I was about to get into, I remember one woman, we went on a date and stuff. I was like, shout out O'Shea Duke Jackson, he had talked about that. I was Uber before Uber. After the date, I picked up one place, but then I'm like taking her over to somebody else's house. It's like, oh, that's just my cousin. So I'm like, wait a minute, right? Keep the one who did that, well, two who did that, keep them in mind for a second. And then, you know what, I just wish somebody Happy New Year and everything. And it was funny with that. I remember a specific New Year's Eve went out with this woman, right? And I'm gonna tell you what, I didn't even get a New Year's Eve kiss for her. I got like one of those good, it wasn't even a good church hug. It was like on New Year's Eve. Keep those women I mentioned just in mind, right? So you know what, had all the stuff dudes think it was necessary. None of the women were calling me ugly at the minimum. And some even compliment, especially my eyes and everything. So I'm like, what the fuck? And of course I ain't think about it like that because I was getting just enough, right? Just enough. So I'm just like, okay. And I still didn't think about it, but then it was like this one, and this was a legitimate dime. Sicilian woman, right? We went to this concert. She was looking fine as shit, but she didn't even want to give me a kiss. She had this cat suit on, sexy. She at least let me hold her hand and shit. And I was trying to get some, and she was like, Mom, you're just too big. Because the one thing I didn't have, I didn't have that physique. I mean, like now I'm big, but it's like, okay, he looked like he been lifting weights and shit big, But then I was just big. I mean, I carried it well. It wasn't sloppy and shit. It's more like chubby. All right. So, this fine ass Sicilian dime was telling me, oh, no, you're a little bit too big. And I was like, fuck that. She had that cat suit on looking good. So I was like, fuck it. That's when I started working out. Really working out. Now, I've been in the gym before then, but it's kind of like that shaman thing. You go in there, lift some, don't break a sweat and all of that. That type of lifting. And some people might see that in gym. You ever see that person go in the gym and stuff, and they'll get on the machine weights and just lift just enough, just some basic shit? Like I could go in the gym, like up to that point, I would go in the gym, but not consistently. And then when I went in, I wouldn't really lift anything. Wouldn't sweat, really wouldn't do any work. But then after that one incident, I was like, okay, I gotta drop some. And then at that point, I carried it further, like maybe later in the year, but that was more for professional reasons. And I ain't say it publicly. I ain't never say the agency, but I was in the application process for a federal law enforcement agency. I ain't gonna say who. I ain't gonna say who. And I've done stuff like that during the 90s. But before then, it was just a regular. And you know what? Remember I said that one woman who I was like the Uber for? Just losing just a little bit of weight. Just a little bit. It wasn't even a lot. Roughly 10 pounds. It started showing a difference. She I say for 4 years after that, she did vile stuff to my body. Especially as it got better, but she was like looking, it's like, okay, I like that, right? And then remember I mentioned that woman with the New Year's Eve thing. When my body got really tighter, like a couple years, like when I really dropped some weight, and then we got together. And I seriously asked her what was the difference, and she said, shit, it was your body. Like, my face didn't change. My face didn't change too much. My face doesn't change. Like, people say, yeah, you can definitely, like, you know, cheekbones and stuff can get thinner and all that stuff, more defined. But you gotta lose a whole lot of weight for that shit to happen. You gotta lose a lot of weight. And I've actually seen people who've been cutting, they don't do anything. The face is largely, it's hard for it to change. The most you can change is maybe your cheekbones or something. That's the most. So she was doing stuff, and it was a few other women, like sucking my dick, who had like put me in platonic mode at first. And they went from that to sucking my dick. Now, not that like church, like that platonic sex, sucking my motherfucking dick. And the only thing I changed, and I looked at that shit, and I was like, the only thing I changed was just my body. My face didn't change. My face didn't change. You know? My eyes didn't change. Women always like my eyes. Still had all my teeth. So my teeth didn't change. Shit, never did anything with my nose. And actually, my cheekbone's always been this way. Biggest weight is, even just getting older, is like around here and stuff. Which this ain't no big deal. Shit. Face didn't change. The only thing that changed was my body. That's why, and look, and I seen it. Anytime you go from a woman putting you in the friend zone, being platonic, giving you some chast hug, to doing vile things to your body, you know, because you had the body. And I noticed even the sex change. And you know what? It's even the finer women. Because remember what I said, when you get those dimes and everything, shoot, they want to do, the face ain't as important to them, but they definitely want a body. They definitely, especially if they work out hard to keep their body. Because I noticed too, I was even getting attention from, you know, those women, those athletic bodies and stuff, you know, with those butt dunks and tight bodies and stuff, you know? So, you know, that's why I'm like, even with the podcast I did holistically, see, too many guys think it's just one thing, but, you know, I lived through it. Ain't no theory or some shit like that. I lived through it. I saw it right. Anytime a woman who didn't want to give you some, doing vile things to your body consistently. Like I said, a couple of them, shoot, it wasn't like no one and done thing either. It was like for a while. In fact, a few, a lot of them I'm still cool with on, still Facebook friends with them and stuff. And they reached out to me. So, you know, that's why I know it's more, like I said, I know. It's not, no, I ain't have to read any theory or anything or speculate. I went through it. And that's why I don't have any respect for anybody who says stuff, because their only thing is from the outside. If somebody can tell me from personal experience, and even then, I don't take them seriously, to be honest. Unless they show their face. I don't take them seriously. If you hiding behind an avatar, I don't believe it. You know, say, who's just the face? Bullshit. Let me look at the whole thing. It was just that one little thing. And and like I said, yeah, I got some play, but look at the quality of it. And look at the women I got it from. You know? Seriously. You know? And that's supposedly from a handsome guy with some money and status. But then when that body got in there, it just changed it. And shoot. And especially with that body, that's when I started seeing the shadow world. That's another conversation. But I learned that. And like I said, the women even told me. They was like, your body nice. And like I said, they were liking it so much. Licking my back. Licking from head to toe. Shit, grabbing everything. Be like, oh, nice arms. Nice chest. Shit. I was like, I didn't get that at first. Shit. I didn't get that at first. So, you know, I wanted to share that because look, when I'm trying to tell people out here, it's not like speculation. I actually seen somebody say it. Ain't speculation. I ain't like I've never been one of those dudes who just sit in the house. And a lot of people, what people call in gaming shit, some shit All that shit I mastered back in. I was doing that before I graduated high school. Getting phone numbers, all that shit, dating, all that shit. But it didn't go to another level till I got that physique right. So anyway, I wanted to share that. Now, of course, you still gonna get some people gonna fight it and shit. Go for it. But in 2021, if you want to roll, you want some real shit. And you got people like C Boogie and Cousin T Talk can back it up. You know, some many other guys. They starting to do videos and emphasizing the body game. You know, so it's like, shoot. Hey, I'm just telling you. Now, here's the thing: you don't have to do. You don't have to. I ain't forcing you. And it's like a martial arts thing. If you good with what however you is working, good. But my feeling is shit. I want that badass woman. I want that fine ass woman. And I know, hey, personal experience, I know what got her. So anyway, that's all I got for now, y'all. See y'all next year.